often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show under the world of outlaws.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you're having an amazing night and are ready for some action here on the racing surface as the Dre Broadcasting Network welcomes you aboard the action train at Talladega Super Speedway. The Cyber Racing Association brings you the round 2 of the Drive for Autism Super Speedway Summer Series here at Talladega. I am your action distributor, Sean Zulu, and joining me is my good friend and producer, Dave Everly. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Sean? Ready for some green flag racing here tonight?
I am doing good too, thank you, and absolutely. This is Talladega. We can go 4 wide, 5 wide, 6 wide. We can go flying, but it's up to the drivers, so we should expect to see some great entertaining action here tonight. But Dave, tell us a little bit about tonight's race, please.
Well, Sean, as you said, we are at Talladega. Taking a look at the weather, it looks like it's going to be 65-degree track temperature with outside temperature 73 degrees temperature down on the track. The wind, no wind. It's under clear conditions, so it's a good racing day here at Talladega Super Speedway.
Very, very nicely said. Just a little bit of recap from last week's race. We raced at Daytona International with the K&N cars, which are fixed setups, while the trucks here tonight do have open setups. And we had 26 of Travis Stewart bring it home. We had 14. We had Robert Groover second place, Paul Servant third, Chris Akers fourth. We had Sawyer Ott fifth, Jeremy Funk sixth, Artie Pedersen Jr. seventh, Justin Levine eighth, Daniel Harrington ninth, and Nathan Davis did round up the top 10 in that race. And we had a lot of lead changes up front as the drivers did try their best to lead as many laps as possible to make the first race count. But backing it up a little bit, Mark Jorgensen Jr. did take the pole and led them to the first green flag. But as soon as the green flag had flown, Rod Newford tried to challenge Mark Jorgensen Jr., the pole sitter, for that lead, even though they were teammates. And so many different packs were formed as the drivers separated themselves from the lead pack and rode single file to double wide while saving gas. And contact up front between Sawyer Ott and James Peterson did cause a chain reaction, giving us our first caution of the night. And contact between Roger Stewart and Paul Servant in the back, not in the back, but it was up front in the later stages of the race, did give us a very big junk on the backstretch with 3 laps to go, which did end the race under caution. But overall, the race went by very, very well as the new drivers, and the old drivers to CRA did go neck and neck, trying their best to bring out the best competition out of each other. And looking at our current season standings, we do have Travis Stewart on the pole. He is leading it. And we have Robert Groover and Paul Servant both tied for second. Chris Akers in third. That is season standings champion from last season, defending champion this season. Sawyer Ott is fourth in points. Jeremy Funk and Daniel Harrington are both tied for fifth place. David Anderson, John LaBeouf, and Artie Peterson Jr. are both tied for fifth place in points. Justin Levine seventh, Nathan Davis eighth, Joseph Hicks ninth, and Sean Boundy, Mr. High Side himself, is rounding up the top 10 in the current points. So, Dave, tonight this race will determine whether or not these guys maintain the spots they're in, whether or not they advance or either break the ties. But at the moment here, we do have these guys qualifying, and once again on the pole is the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr., who was the pole sitter last week's race, the K&N cars at Daytona International Speedway. And once again, we are doing something new here at CRA, but we have 3 segments, lap 25, lap 50, and lap 75. And the top 5 during those laps, 25, 50, and 75, will get some extra bonus points. So that does mean they have eliminated the bonus points that you get for leading a lap.
Yeah, most definitely, Sean. But you got to remember, we will not be getting a yellow flag at the end of the segments. They will keep racing, but they just get them bonus points there end of each segment.
And also on the line here, we do have some prizes for the champion. Who's going to get a custom diecast from Z's Custom Diecast, and $25. Second, third, fourth in points at the end of the season are going to receive $10. 17th place will receive $25 as well. And also have some team championships. We have $100 to the team, and each team has 4 drivers, a maximum of 4 drivers And some teams that we have here, we do have Checker 1 Motorsports with Gary Champion, Zachary Hale, Jason Kinzer, Justin Levine, Dark Horse Inc., Mark Jorgensen Jr., Dana Osborne, and Rodney Wooford. Dingleberry Motorsports with Matthew Quick, he's a lone guy. Radical Racing has Chris Akers, Dwayne Cooper, James Peterson, and Bobby Tinch. We have Rebel Racing with Sean Boundy, Sawyer Ott, Raymond Rittenauer II, and Matthew Welsenbach. Sim Nation Racing involves Eddie Hawks, John LaBeouf, new driver, Thomas Labar, and Austin Moore. Both drivers are new to the season. T. Weber Motorsports has Joshua Banks and Blake Neer. And Thunder Motorsports has a lone driver, which is M. Corey Budinot. And I do apologize if I mispronounced that last name, which just reminds me we do have some team standings here. So the leading team so far is Rebel Racing with 124 points. Dark Horse Inc. is right behind them with 113 points. Checker 1 Motorsports is 105 points. Third, Radical Racing is fourth in points. And Sim Nation Racing is fifth in points. Well, going back to tonight's race here, Dave, we do have these guys currently gridding up. So we will give them a few seconds before we go down that list. '88 Mark Jorgensen Jr. will grab the pole. The 3 Rodney Wooford, his teammates side by side with him, second place. The 9 of Paul Servant starting third. 11 of Jason Kinzer fourth. We have 5 Thomas Labar fifth. 8 of Dana Osborne sixth. The 29 of Matthew Welsenbach seventh. 34 Sean Boundy starting the 8th place spot. 87 Raymond Rittenauer the second, 9th. And that 71 of Roger Buff will round up the top 10. 43 of David Anderson 11th. The 17 of Joseph W. Hicks 12th. The 65 of Marty Ray 13th. We have the 82 of Daniel Harrington 14th. The 21 of William Flamholtz starting in 15th. The 00 of Dwayne Cooper 16th. The 12 of Robert Groover starting 17th. The 66 of Bobby Tinch 18th. The 19 of Kona Parise starting 19th. The 37 of J.R. Johnson 20th. The 69 of Rod Rodman Sr. 21st. 18 of Gary Champion 22nd. We have the 81 of Christopher Berry 23rd. 45 Eddie Hawks 24th. 911 John LaBeouf 25th. 58 of James Peterson 26th. 09 of Austin Moore 27th. The 1 of Stephen Messerly 28th. 54 of Chris Akers, season standings champion from last season, 29th. And last to qualify, the 62 of Zachary Hale. The 77 of Travis Stewart and the 6 of Roger Stewart chose not to qualify, starting 31st and 32nd. Going back up front, Dave, we are being led by the 88 of Mike Jorgensen Jr. These guys are going to be going green for the first time, this time by.
Yeah, most definitely we are going to be going. Green flag racing is going to be fun. We are going to see these guys pushing in excess of 195 mile an hour here at Talladega.
And drivers, keep an eye out for will be the 77 Travis Stewart and the 6 of Roger Stewart. Same strategy as last week at Daytona International with the Can-Am cars. They stayed in the back almost all race long, more than half the race, and ended up having one of their drivers win the race last week, which was Travis Stewart. That's 77. Unfortunately, the 6 of Roger Stewart was involved in a wreck that ended the race under caution with 3 laps to go. But these guys getting bunched up nice and tight. Gonna be going green for the first time this time by, and as usual, they do have a 50% fuel limit. So some green flag pit stops will take place because they do have to pit at least twice in order to be able to make it all the way. The 9 of Paul Servant starting to get close. The 88 of Jorgensen on the bottom lane. The 11 of Jason Kinzer doing the exact same thing on the outside lane. The pace car does dip off. Mark still holding pace speed. These guys getting bunched up to get to avoid getting caught off guard when he puts the hammer down at the floor. And the green flag is flying. Yes, the green flag does fly. They all put it on the 9 of Paul Servant already in the back bumper of the 88 of Mark Jorgensen. The outside line, the 8 of Dana Osborne to the rescue of the 11 of Jason Kinzer to try and help the 3 of Rod Newford on the outside line, but these guys still getting up to speed.
Yeah, it'll take them about a lap to get up to full speed as we see the 11 of Kinzer all over that back bumper of the 3 of Rodney Wolford as they are going to excel out of the exit of turn 2. The question is Wolford going to jump down with Jorgensen, or is he going to stay and block that outside line?
My guess is he's gonna probably just stay out there until his pusher overheats, and it's gonna drop down to 88 of Jorgensen, who will have a cool motor at that point. And further back in the pack, 29 Matt Wilson back is side by side of the 11, just 71 of Roger Buff with the drive for Autism. Paint scheme very, very nicely dressed. He is riding behind. It looks like that's the 34 of Sean Boundy on the outside line. Right now the outside line does seem to be the place to be. It is more bunched up than the inside line is so far.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody's in too big of a hurry, Sean. We are on lap 2 of 75. Looks like these guys are content, but that outside line is getting a heck of a push off of the turn as it is being led by the 3 of Rodney Wolford with the 81 of Mark Jorgensen Jr., his teammate from Dark Horse Racing down on the inside, getting some help from the 9 of Paul Servant.
And Dave, as usual, we do have some drivers trying to break away from that lead pack, namely 911 John LeBoff, Kona Paris in the 19, James Peterson in the second pack. Well, it's not really a pack, but they are close enough in the draft of the lead pack to put themselves in if they need to. And further back in the back, 45 Eddie Hawks trying to hang on to the draft of the 58 of Peterson, but so far having no luck, just riding both lanes to try and see which draft he can pick up. And behind him he has the 18 Gary Champion, 62 of Zachary Hale, as well as riding single file behind that pack. And there we have a driver who's logging off the pace here. That's going to be the 1 of Steven Mercerly, riding in the 28th place, starting in the 28th place position. And way back behind him is the 2 drivers, 2 teammates, father and son, Roger Stewart and the 77 of Travis Stewart. And Chris Akers is on the 54, riding in the 31st place spot, has lost the draft. It's not a good thing because that lead pack will catch him here in a hurry and put him a lap down before he can blink. And the 09 of Austin Moore right now just rolling off pit road. Not sure what happened to him, but he is being shown already. A lap down. Up in that lead pack, does get on the 09 of Austin Moore. And that will put him 2 laps down. And they will have some 3 ride going on up from the 11 of Jason Keys trying to make the outside line work with the 34. But it's high side himself. Sean Boundy. These guys trying to go as low as they can to try and suck up from the left side there to try and get the side drop to slow the run of the bottom lane. But so far having no luck. But they are still hanging on nice and tight. Yeah, looks like they are falling off the pace quite a bit, so here in a little bit they will have to fall back in line to avoid losing even more spots, but so far having no luck. Everyone just keeps closing the holes. The 81 of Chris Berry right now, 3 wide in the middle with the 11 of Justin Kinzer, who is on the high sideline, but it looks like they're going to catch a break behind him, but they still decide to stay high to get the slingshot off turn 2 and most likely off turn 4 as well.
Yeah, they're just kind of getting that groove ready. Eventually, we're going to see a lot of 3-wide racing here, Sean, as these guys are all double file here, at least about 7 rows deep here up front, as these drivers are doing a good job at holding the line here, as they are now coming out of turn number 4 here to complete lap number 5, or coming on lap number 6 of 75, 70 laps remaining.
And going back up front, Dave, we see all the same leaders of the bottom and the high sideline, namely Mark Jorgensen Jr. and the 3 of Rodney Wolford. But they do have new pushers. Well, new push on the outside line from the last time we checked. The 8 of Dana Osborne takes over the push of the 11 of Jason Kinzer early on. And that 9, Paul Servant, most likely, Dave, he is overheating. So he is backing off quite a bit to try and allow some air into that motor. And Davis actually right on the in car with the 9 of Poor Servant. You do see him right now having enough room to see that yellow line to avoid tapping it, because going at these speeds 195 plus miles an hour, It is a disaster when top the apron at that speed, and right now he is trying his best to help the 88 of Jorgensen lead the bottom lane. At the same time, he's trying to cool his motor to avoid blowing that sucker up. And Dave, tonight's race is an open setup, but by the looks of it, everybody has a good setup because that draft is keeping them together.
As we are riding on the roof cam of Paul's servant there, looking at all them cars running back, it looks like Sean Boundy and Jason Kinzer has got another truck on that outside lane. They are not giving up on that third lane yet, Sean.
It's 00 of Dwayne Cooper trying to work the outside, and we almost had some trouble there. 3 high, but 6 of the Bobby King has been left out high and dry. We have some more drivers going to the high side, and we now have about 4 to 5 more trucks. Yes, that's 5 trucks. We now have about 4. As everybody right now trying to get runs on the outside. We have the 82 of Daniel Harrington leading the train there with the 66 of Bobby Tinch and the 00 of Dwayne Cooper trying to make it work. Dave, that's a very, very good thing for the third lane, right? The more trucks they have, the more speed they'll have, and the lower they go, the less distance they'll cover. At the same time, they will make up a lot of time, but they all go back down to that bottom lane double wide as they didn't have enough of a run. And Bobby Tinch right now trying his best. So the 82 of Daniel Harrington gets a big run. The 11 of Jason Kinzer and goes high. The 86 of Bobby Tinch will follow. 00 Dwayne Cooper is kind of hesitating. He does back it off, but leaves enough of a gap for the 66 of Bobby Tinch to drop down if he wanted to. But the 66 of Bobby Tinch does still stay high to try and pick up the 82 of Daniel Harrington. At the same time, he does have someone coming up to his rear end. So the 34 of Sean Bond, who then goes down low to leave him high and dry.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that outside lane is just ready just yet. But these guys have a lot of time left with 67 laps remaining here. So they've only got 9 laps in. But it looks like this group here is pretty well all caught up as we see the rest of the field with James Peterson, Robert Groover, Bobby Tinch, Joseph Hicks. All of them have caught back up to that lead pack and back in that draft.
It looks like all the checkups that were going on in the bottom lane, middle lane, all those checkups did end up causing the guys behind to catch up, and all those checkups were all caused due to the drivers overheating and avoiding blowing those motors, trying to get some cool air into them before it's too late. But Dave going back up front, the 3 of Woodford did drop down to the bottom lane to his teammate, the 88 of Mark Johnson, leaving the other teammate on the outside and to lead the outside, and that's going to be the 8 of Dana Osborne being assisted by the 71 of Roger Buff. And as for the back in the pack, we do have status check on the... I'm going to go back, status check on the 77 of Travis Stewart. These guys still riding nose to tail way behind the pack, being shown 16 seconds behind the pack. Actually now 17 seconds, crossing the start-finish line. Yep, 17 seconds and dropping. And behind them, they do have the 09 of Austin Moore, who is trying to hang on to their draft to be the third truck in line, but so far having no luck. They just may be pulling away from him every single lap.
Yeah, he's outside that draft range. Meanwhile, also, the 54 of Chris Akers is hooked up with the 1 of Steven Marcelli. Also, riding back here behind, they are running in a True Tech tandem here, trying to... I think some of these guys may be preying on a caution here to try to get caught back up to the field.
Oh yeah, they do need cautions, Dave, because if we do have green flag pit stops, it is going to be some serious bad news for all the guys who hang back behind the lead pack. But those guys up front in that lead pack will be smiling if a caution does not come out.
Speaking of the lead pack here, Sean, we got 3 wide for the race lead, being led by... that looks like that's the 11 of Jason, or the 11 machine. He is leading that outside pack there. He jumped up in front of Dwayne Cooper. So, actually that's a 71, I'm sorry. 71 of Roger Buff.
Yeah, those numbers do look alike, same color and almost the same font. It's different to distinguish them. Now 34, Sean Bounty trying to be the third truck in line on the outside. to increase that momentum. 71 Roger Buff side driving the every little crap of the middle lane, and so far it is working. They are propelling past them. They might lead a big nose or a slight nose entering turn 3, but nope, the 8 of Dana Osborne and 43 of David Anderson both drop down to that bottom lane, but the outside line is not clear of the middle lane, so they have no choice but to stay high.
Yeah, it's going to drop at 37 machine of J.R. Johnson, but he has got the 66 there, it looks like, of Tinch there right behind him. No, that's the 81. He's got the 81 of Christopher Berry coming up to give him some help. Looks like that outside line's getting a good run here, coming into turns number 1 and 2.
Oh, some heavy contact up front. It might be a wreck. Oh, we have the 3 of Wooford down the apron. 37 Jared, the 3 of Wooford goes sideways. Is he going to save it? Yes, he does, but he's going to lose it. Oh, big wreck. Exiting turn 2. It involves 87 Roman Root now. The 69 of Rod Massino was involved in that. Is the caution going to fly? Yes, the caution does fly as we had that big wreck off turn 2 off the apron there. Let's back that up and focus on the 3. Actually, the 69 of Rod Rodman Sr.
Well, as we do the replay, we see the 3 go down, and that just causes a chain reaction there. That is going to cause a lot of damage there. As we're going to rewind it here again and take a look. Looks like the 37 comes down and door checks the 3, pushing him on the apron. He does a good job at trying to save it, but unfortunately, Rod Rodimus Sr. there looked like he was trying to slow down and get caught up into that. That is going to bring out our first caution of the evening.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate for all drivers involved. But Dave, this does make a lot of drivers very happy. Those guys who are about 10 to 12 to 19 seconds behind this lead pack, so they can all get caught up once again and do it again. But I bet, Dave, once the green flag flies again, they will back off that lead pack and make themselves some own packs. But Dave, going back up front, we are being led by the 8 of Dana Osborne, 43 David Anderson in second, the 00 Dwayne Cooper third. We have the 37 Jared Johnson fourth, and the 71 of Roger Buff in that 5th place spot. And Dave, something tells me we're going to have a majority of the field going down pit road.
Yeah, it looks like it should be pit stop time here, as we are seeing the 8 of Dana Osborne bring the entire field down to pit road for the first pit stop of the evening.
And this is lap number 15, so we have 10 more laps before the end of segment number 1. Once again, we have 3 segments. We have segment lap 25, lap 50, and lap 75. And the top 5 drivers during those laps will receive bonus points. Oh, we have some contact in the pits. We have some I heard some heavy banging. So involved, gonna back it up and see who that might have been. The 17 of Joseph Hicks might have been tagged while trying to enter his pit stop, and yes, that was exactly what happened. By the looks of it, no, not too much harm was done there, so he was able to get back out straight, and is now getting some service. And this does give us some time to get a race interview in, so let's focus on one of the drivers who started in the back. Let's focus on the 1 of Stephen Mercerly. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get a hold of the 1 of Steven, but we are going to keep trying. But instead, let's focus on 69 of Rod Massino. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the 69 of Rod Massino up here with us. Good cop there, Rod.
How's it going?
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
We're doing good too, thank you. We are enjoying the show you guys are putting on for us up here in the booth. And we did notice you were just pretty much taking your time. You're taking it easy, trying to stay out of trouble for the most part. But how's the race going so far, buddy?
I'm sorry, Sean. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, it's all good. I was asking, how's the race going so far, buddy?
Well, it was going pretty good there, and I got caught up in that right there, but hopefully we can keep it clean the rest of the way.
Oh, 10-4. Do you have any strategies in mind to try and stay out of trouble, anything like that?
Well, I was just trying to stay in the pack right there, but now that happened and I don't have a quick fix left, I might lay back for a little bit here. We still got a long way to go.
Oh, 10-4, Rod. Well, Rod, you are an amazing driver at the super speedways here. I have raced with you a lot of times, and you do know how to get the job done. Get yourself with the right people, and you are headed the right direction. So good luck to you, buddy, and make us proud.
All right, thank you, Sean.
And that was 69 of Rod. Rodman Sr. currently in the 28th place spot. Trying to go at the back of the field here to try and stay out of trouble. But going back up front, the 8, Dana Osborne still in the lead. 43, David Anderson second. 71, Roger Buff third. 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. fourth. And the 00 of Dwayne Cooper in the 5th place spot, rounding up the top 5. And Dave, us having a 50% fuel limit, that probably gives us about pit window of 25 to 30 laps. So it definitely will be very, very interesting to see what these guys have.
Yeah, if we go green flag the rest of the way, I think we should be able to make it on one more pit stop, but that is yet to be seen of how this is going to play out. We are now on lap 17 of 25, which means we have right about 7 laps remaining here before the end of segment 1.
Also, Dave, one thing we forgot to mention is that these drivers do have only one backup car, one quick fix, one fast repair. That basically means they, if they do get wrecked out, they have a bad enough wreck to slow them down, they blow their motor or something along those lines, they will go down pit road and use that backup truck, which gives them a new truck, so they can be able to stay competitive and be back up to full speed. And Dave, we are now back 1 to green. We have 8 of Dana Osborne in the bottom lane with the help of the 71 of Roger Buff, the 43 of David Anderson leading the outside with the help of the 88 of Mark Jorgensen, the post-sitter tonight, and the post-sitter from the last week's race, round 1 at Daytona International, the Can-Am cars. But these guys will be going green once again. And Dave, something tells me this next green flag run will have some different driving styles. These guys will pretty much, I mean, I'm guessing we're going to see more packs than we did before.
Well, that could definitely be there. As I'm taking a look down the list here, we do have the Mr. Highside himself, Sean Bounty, running in 11th. I don't think before too long we're going to start seeing some more 3-wide racing, as we saw just a little bit ago.
Oh, absolutely. Anything is possible, because last week at Daytona International, you know, Daytona is a it's narrow track compared to Talladega, so we didn't see too much 3-wide there. So these guys are trying their best to release those beasts from last week. Since they couldn't go 3-wide, they're trying to go 3-wide here as much as they can to make it count. But these guys entering turns number 3 and 4, exiting turn 4, going green for the second time. This time as the 8 of Dana Osborne does control this restart. These guys getting bunched up nice and tight to try and get a better restart than everybody else, and the pacer will be ducking off.
Pace car dips off into pit road. Looks like the 8 of Dana Osborne is going to keep them at pace speed as they come through the dogleg. They are still maintaining pace speed. The green flag flies off on the throttle. These guys go, trying to get those engines warm as they cross the start and finish line. As we see them side by side here, but I tell you what, it looked like the outside lane got a heck of a boost. Is that is going to drop down to Osborne, down into third, as David Anderson is going to take control of that bottom lane.
If that 88 of Mark Jorgensen does leave the outside lane, that's exactly what he wants to do. The 37 of Jared Johnson will assist him, as the bottom lane right now does seem to be the place to be at the moment. And behind them, they do have the 00 Dwayne Cooper, who does switch lanes from the bottom lane to the high side, trying to give some aid to the outside behind the 37 of J.R. Johnson, and further back behind them, the 9 Paul Servant, the 681 Chris Berry, the 19 of Connor Paris. All these guys go single file. Well, Dave, the outside lane is not the place to be just yet, by the looks of it.
Yeah, it looks like the 00 Dwayne Cooper is going to jump up and give Mark Jorgensen Jr. and the 37 of J.R. Johnson some help there. Also, looks like the 9 of Paul Servant is going to look to the outside possibly make it a 4-car push on that outside lane.
Oh, big wreck with some drivers flying on the exit of turn to the caution. We've had the Berserk Dwayne Cooper involved in that. 37 of J.R. Johnson got a piece of that. The 9, that's the 19 of Connor Parisi involved. 88, Mario Johnson, heavy smoke from the rear end. Who else was involved? 43 of David Anderson as well was involved in that. Let's back it up. And let's focus on the 43 of David Anderson.
Well, as we go to our blimp view here, focusing on the 43, looks like the apron got him, got loose, got spun around, and he turned into a helicopter as many times as he spun around there.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was very, very unfortunate. I'm just surprised the wreck was not as big as it should have been, because when a wreck happens up front, it does collect the most drivers. And looking at it from further investigation, there was just a little bit of a bad bump. He was pushed on the left rear, on the left tail light there by the 8 of Dana Osborne, which did get him sideways. Very, very unfortunate, not intentional at all. Because the 88 of Dana Osborne did tap the apron, which did shoot him up the track to the left side of the 43 of David Anderson. But going back up front, we do have the 29 of Matthew Elzenbach, who will be in second place. The 71, Roger Buff, first. The 8 of Dana Osborne, third. 66 of Bobby Tinch, fourth. And the 81 of Justin Berry in the 5th place spot. And by the looks of it, Dave, we do have some drivers being towed down to pit road. We have 43 of David Anderson down pit road getting some service on that machine. We do have as well 88 of Mark Johnson, who was smoking heavily. I'm not sure if he's towing or is still on the track trying to locate him. I'll be still going out there, releasing some heavy black smoke from that rear end, trying to crow to pit road. At the same time, trying to avoid overheating that motor, because that motor will overheat from too much black smoke and will blow up in a quick second. But the whole field behind is patiently waiting behind him for him to make it down to pit road.
Well, we are going to see our race leader, the 8 of Dana Osborne, bring him down pit road. Looks like our front 3 there, and then as everybody else, we are going to have some cars staying out. I see the 9 of Paul Servant is going to stay out. He is going to take that race lead as we see the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. smoking heavenly, trying to get all the way down to the end of pit road. Hopefully he has a quick fix and a backup truck and get back out there.
And Dave, we did have some drivers deciding to stay out, namely Paul Servant did stay out. We also have Daniel Harrington, also the 62 of Zachary. We haven't spoken much of him tonight, but started 30th, currently 3rd. The 21 of William Flamholtz as well in 4th, and it's 11 Jason Kinzer, Robert Boobin 12, Joseph Hicks, and the 65 Marty Ray, 09 Austin Moore, 69 of Rod Rodman Sr. And most guys right now getting the waiver around the pace car. Yes, they are. We have Marty Ray getting a waiver around the pace car, and also the 09 of Austin Moore. So these guys do get one lap back under this caution.
Yeah, that's going to put him back on the lead lap there, Sean. That is going to give us 30 trucks back on the lead lap here as we are on lap 22 of 75. Just 3 laps remaining here. The question is, we may have a 1-lap shootout here for the Segment 1 winner.
Yeah, that's going to mean these guys will have their best A game, trying to be among the top 5 to try and get those extra bonus points, because they do make a difference in the long run when these guys have bad races. But at the moment, this does give us some time for a race interview. So let's focus on the 62 of Zachary Hale. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the 62 of Zachary Hale from Checker One Motorsports. Got a call up there, Zach?
Yes, sir. How are y'all today?
Good, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good,
Well, brother, doing an amazing job out there, just keeping a low profile for the most part. We did notice you started in 30th place spot, currently the 3rd place position. What's on your mind, buddy?
Finishing this race clean, I guess.
Oh, 10-4. And anybody you hope to bring with you to the checkered flag?
Yeah, I got my partner here, Gary, from Checker One with us tonight. Have a couple guys who missed tonight. They had other things planned, you know. But really, I want to thank everybody on the team. Thank Dwayne and everybody here at Cyber Racing for making everything possible. You know, we have a lot of fun out here. And thank my buddy Will for helping me get this paint job set up and everything for this race. And thank you guys for what y'all do up in the booth.
Oh, absolutely. You guys did put on an amazing show for us, and you are an amazing driver. You and your teammates all do know how to get the job done. And Zach, if we do go green, do you have any strategies in mind for pit stops? Maybe separate yourself from the lead pack and pit alone with your teammates, or maybe pit as a big pack with everybody else.
Yeah, that's what me and Gary's been working on, a little pit strategy here, something we're going to try out. Hopefully it works out for us, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
10-4, that's all you can hope for. Well, brother, you are currently in the lead here, leading your first lap, so congratulations on that, and hope we see you in the top 5 with once the segment ends on lap 25, so you can get some extra bonus points, buddy.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Good luck, man.
Yeah, thank you.
And that was the 62 of Zachary Hale from the Checker 1 Motorsports team, currently leading the 21 of William Flamholtz behind him, the 8 of Dana Osborne third, 71 of Roger Buff fourth, and the 66 of Bobby Tinch in the 5th place spot. And Dave, everybody did pit in except for these 2 drivers up front. They do have, so namely Zachary Hale and William Flamholtz. These guys have 8 laps on their tires, which is 6 laps more than everybody else. But Dave, this is Talladega, so that is not too much, so it's not going to be too bad for them.
Yeah, most definitely. It just depends if they get into the draft. As we'll see, the cars out front will burn more fuel than the cars behind them, so it'll be interesting to see how this is going to play out as the pace car is now crossing the start-finish line. The pace lights are off. We are going to have a 1-lap shootout to see who is the Segment 1 winner, as these segments are from lap 25 going to lap 26, lap 50 going to 51, and of course the final lap. So we are going to have a 1-lap shootout here to see who is going to get bonus points. The top 5 will get bonus points. The winner of each segment gets 5. The second place gets 4. Third place gets 3. Second place 2. And 5th place will get 1 bonus point. Here it's the segments, as the pace car is now bringing them down the backstretch.
Well, Dave, on the first start and the previous restart that we had going green, these guys were not very bunched up. They were keeping a gap in between them and the trucks ahead of them. Something tells me this one, you're not going to be able to fit nose hair in between them. That's how tight they're going to be to try and be in the top 5. Just like you talked about, 1-lap shootout to lap number 25. So fingers crossed for these guys.
Yeah, most definitely, as the pace car is now bringing them out of turn number 3 into turn number 4. They are getting bunched up nice and tight, ready for this restart, ready to go back. Green flag racing here at Talladega Super Speedway.
The 8 of Dana Osborne right now trying to catch the 62 of Zachary Hale. The 71 Roger Buff on the outside trying to do the exact same thing to his pushy 21 of William Flamholtz. They do exit turn 4. These guys getting bunched up more than ever. The pace car does dip off the 60 of Zachary Hale, still holding pace speed. The 21 of Zach's trying to hold the same pace as the leaders of Zachary Hale. And the green flag will fly. Yes, the green flag flies. They all put it on the 8 of Dana Osborne, already on the back bumper. The 62 of Zachary Hale, 71 of Roger Buff on the outside, behind the 21 of William Flamholtz, being pushed to the 34 of Sean Bounty, third in line on the outside line. Bobby Tinch featuring his name on the bottom lane as well, third truck on that bottom lane. 71 Roger Buff trying to outshift everybody on the bottom lane, but so far he's trying to catch up with the 21 of William Holtz back bumper to try and increase that momentum. They do have a slingshot off turn 2 and will go neck and neck on the backstretch entering turn 3.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this is going to play out. Coming into turn 3, we are double foul here, side by side, at least 6-7 rows deep. We got a little 3-wide action in the back, but we are going to keep our cameras focused here on the front as they are coming across the start-finish line to see who is going to take those bonus points. We have the 21 on the outside getting a good push, but here comes the 62 of Hale as they come through the dog leg. Who is going to take it? Looks like the 21 is going to take the 5 bonus points, followed by Zachary Hale, Roger Buff, Dana Osborne, and Sean Bounty, all getting bonus points here for segment number 1.
Well, Dave, as soon as the segment ends, we do... Oh, big check up at the bottom lane. The 8 of Dana Osborne does get rear-ended. These things don't have any brake lights, no tail lights that are functional. On the outside, on the 71 of Roger Buff, leaves the outside of the help 34 of Sean Bounty. What I was about to say was as soon as the segment was over, these guys all backed it down. The outside line was dying, but then because of the checkup in the bottom lane, did come back to life on the outside on the 18 of Gary Champion, trying to be near the top 5 here, the 58 of James Peterson on his rear end. And James Peterson has an amazing driver as well. Haven't spoken much of him tonight, but he is here trying to take some names.
Yeah, also the 81 right there behind James Peterson out on that outside as we are too wide here. Looks like we are too wide, about 5 trucks deep here as that outside is trying to make a push. Don't see anybody really trying the lane number 3 yet, but we still have 49 laps remaining.
Further back in the pack, Rod Newford right now charging, goes to the outside, 54 of Chris Akers on his rear end. These guys do have a run of a lifetime. Well, Dave, let's actually run on the in car, 54 of Chris Akers, so we can watch him work with the 3 of Wooford on the outside. Oh, the outside line is coming to life, but the 2 of Akers does back off the 3 of Wooford, and it's only a matter of time for the 3 of Wooford starts to lose that speed. All that momentum is going to be lost. They most likely will be trying to drop back down to the bottom lane, and yes, the outside line is now starting to death. 2 of Akers drops down. The 3 of Wooford left out high and around the outside, but the 2 of Akers just might back off to let him in. No, they will go through it for 3 of Anderson on the inside line, 3 of Wooford on the outside, 2 of Akers in the middle lane. And the 3 of Wooford is going in the back in a hurry, but then falls back behind the 4 of Chris Akers to start riding. Also further back in the pack, Dave, we do have 17 of Joseph Hicks. These guys in a little bit of a second pack, trying to lose the first pack. Being led by 65 of Marty Ray. They have the 0 Dwayne Cooper, 19 of Connor Paris, 17 of Joseph Hicks, and the 09 of, that's going to be Austin Moore. These guys now go double foul, trying to get around the bottom lane. And that bottom lane right now trying to just stay away from that lead pack, with the outside line he's trying to catch up the lead pack. And in this pack, we do have the 11 of, we have Robert Groover in it. We also have, by the looks of it, the 11 of, it's going to be Jason Kinzer trying to work with his teammate, the 12 of Groover.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to catch back up into that draft of that lead pack there. These guys are battling. We do have 3 wide on the outside. I can't get the truck number 4. But they are battling. It looks like that is going to be the 18 of Gary Champion on the outside. Meanwhile, the 58 of James Peterson. Also on the lane number 3, he is going to get help here from Gary Champion as they are trying to make their way to the front. Here comes another truck up to help them try to get that outside lane working. That is the 54 of Chris Akers.
Yeah, but they all now go back down to that bottom lane. But 54 of Akers does stay high. Nope, he does fall back in the middle lane to just try and ride to avoid losing more spots, or to avoid losing spots. And Dave behind him, 0 Dwayne Cooper, the 09 of Austin Moore, trying to make the outside line work. But it's only a 2-truck push so far, having no luck so far. So they do fall back in line. Now 54 of Chris Akers to most likely back it up and get a run, make the outside line work.
Yeah, I think they're going to need more than 3 trucks there, Sean, as these guys are back down to double foul here, as we see the 00 of Dwayne Cooper all over the back bumper of Chris Akers as he's trying to get up there and get that trucks in front of him.
Also for the back in the pack, Dave, the usual suspects, the 6 of Roger Stewart and the 77 of Travis Stewart. These guys still riding way behind the pack, and further back in the pack behind them, it's not really a pack, but it's the 1 of Steven Mercerly. And Steven right now just pretty much trying to stay away from trouble. He has been doing this all race long, all night long so far, this far. And just seems to be losing the draft every now and then. It was being shown 6 seconds behind that lead pack, but now that has increased to over 10 seconds. So he definitely is hoping for cautions here to help him keep up, to avoid him going a lap down. And unfortunately, Dave, we have lost 1 driver, 37 of J.R. Johnson.
Well, looking here in second place, Mr. Highside himself stuck down low. The 34 of Sean Bounty leading the bottom lane, but the 81 of Christopher Berry is getting a heck of a push from Rod Ronimus Sr. on the outside, but not enough. Yep, he is going to clear Sean Bounty, jump down, leaving the 69 with Matthew Walsham back, and the 5 of Thomas Labar on the outside.
That 34 Sean Bounty does finally clear the bottom lane. He jumps up to the outside to get assistance for 69 of Rod. Rod Massey in the outside line will get checked up, will get stacked up, but no harm. Will be down the third lane. I hear some motors roaring up. Yes, 54 of Akers, huge run on the outside. They help with the 00 of Dwayne Cooper. Yeah, that is Dwayne Cooper pushing on the 54 of Chris Akers, making the outside line work, and it is working their favor. They go from front back now. Big wreck on the front stretch. On the back stretch, he actually exiting turn 2. They go down the apron. That will involve 34 Sean Bounty. Nope, the caution does by 81 of Christopher Berry involved in that. Let's see who else. The 29 of Wells and back and the 62 of Zachary Hale all involved. Let's focus on the 81 of Berry on replay.
Well, as we go back here to the replay, focusing on the 81, he tries to go to the outside. He door checks the 29 of Matthew Walzenbach and gets him around. Jorgensen's going to get a little bit of damage. Oh, the 12 and the 11 going to get a little bit of damage as well. Well, that's not, I wouldn't classify quite that one as the big one, Sean.
Far from the big one indeed, but very, very unfortunate for every single driver involved. And currently our leaders are 54 Akers, 00 Dwayne Cooper, 34 Sean Bounty, 69 Rod Rodman Sr., and also the 5 of Thomas Labar. Rounding up the top 5, but this does give us some time to get our first interview, first commercial break. I lost my words there. First commercial break of tonight's race, so you guys can get your refreshments and popcorn. We'll be right back, so stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 of the Cyber Racing Association Drive for Autism Super Speedway Summer Series. We're going back. Actually, it's brought to you by Drive for Autism, Radical Racing, and Z's Custom Diecast. Don't want to forget our sponsors. We're going back to the race. We do have 34 Sean Bounty in the lead, 00 Dwayne Cooper second, the 5 Thomas Labar third, 18 Gary Champion fourth, and 66 of Bobby Tinch in the 5th place spot. And Dave, unfortunately, we have lost one more driver, the 12 of Robert Groover, but we do look forward to seeing all these drivers back at the next race we have, which will be Daytona 2007 with the K&N cars.
Yeah, most definitely here. So taking a look at our mid-race report, we have had 3 cautions here tonight. Current leader is Sean Bounty, but Sean, just in 36 laps, we have had 17 lead changes already tonight.
Oh man, 17 lead changes and a lot more lead changes to come. We're gonna see a lot of guys trying to get their work their way to the front for that next segment we're having, which will be lap number 50. So these guys will try to be at the right place at the right time, set themselves up for that. But right now, the cross start finish line, the lights on the pace car do turn off, and that does mark the 1 to green. 00 Dwayne Cooper will lead the outside with the help of the 18 of Gary Champion. In the inside, we have 34 Sean Bounty being helped by the 5 of Thomas Labar. And Dave, at the moment, I do hear a lot of engines going from loud to silent, loud to silent, loud to silent. Some guys are clutching those suckers in, while others are just pretty much shutting the trucks off. That is a way of saving gas.
Well, we are approaching the halfway point here of tonight's race at Talladega Super Speedway, a 2.5 mile, 190 plus mile an hour raceway in these trucks. So they are just trying to save a little bit of fuel for pit strategy, even though all of them have already pitted. The question is anybody going to try to make it the remainder of the race on their last tank?
Yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting to see what these guys have planned in terms of strategies. As these guys do enter turns number 3 and 4, going to be going green this time by the 34. Sean Bounty will lead them to the next upcoming green flag. 54 Chris Akers shuffled back, went to the back of the pack. 82 Daniel Harrington does the exact same thing. These 2 drivers did stay out the longest, did decide to stay out 2 laps after everybody else under caution, which did end up shuffling them from 1st and 2nd place to about 21st and 22nd place. But the Lightning pace car are now off with going green this time by exiting turn 4. These guys getting bunched up nice and tight. Their pace car dips off. Sean Bound is still holding pace speed, waiting for the green flag to fly. The green flag flies there. Oh, put it down. 34 Sean Bounty, no hesitation on the inside line. The 5 Thomas Labar, the 6 of Bobby Tinch, trying to increase the momentum at the moment. All the 34 of Sean Bounty before turn 1 on the outside line. The 00 Dwayne Cooper being pushed by the 18 of Gary Champion. 45 Eddie Hawks here, new to the top 10 tonight. An amazing driver as well here at the CRA, and trying his best to assist the outside line the best he can. The 5 Thomas Labar trying to get a sweet move on 34 of Sean Bounty on the bottom lane to try and help him maintain that race lead. But so about the 88 of the 00 Dwayne Cooper on the outside is propelling a slight nose entering turn 3.
Yeah, the question is who's going to get that run off the turn as we see the 18 of Gary Champion stick his nose out there, probably to get some air under that hood. Meanwhile, 45 is jumping up. Looks like right now it is going to be the 34 Sean Bounty as they come through the dog leg. Who is going to lead the lap as they are battling? We got a little 3 wide accident in the back. Nope, back 2 wide they go. Sean Bounty is going to lead that lap.
And we have a little bit of a second pack being from the caution flies again here on lap 39. Let's see who might have been involved in that. Oh, it happened in turn 1. Got a couple of drivers involved in that. Gonna get some names here. The 1 of Artie Heavy Smoke. Actually, that's the 1 of Steven Mercerly. Heavy Smoke from the rear end. The 82 Daniel Harrington involved in that as well. Let's back it up and focus on the 82 of Daniel Harrington.
Well, as we pull out our replay, we are focusing on the 82. It looks like contact between him and the 1 got him spun around. But meanwhile, after the caution flew, there was some action up front. We seen a lot of cars. The 58 of James Peterson, the 34 Sean Bounty, the 00 Dwayne Cooper, all involved in that. So we are going to rewind that and take a look here at these front runners from the blimp view, because I think that might be the big one, Sean. As they come here through the turn, looks like maybe Dwayne Cooper gets down into Sean Bounty. That is going to shake his field up here, as there's a lot of trucks spinning there on the backstretch.
Oh man, Dave, that is two separate incidents in the exact same caution. 17, Joseph Hicks was involved in the second part. 911, John LaBeouf involved. Bobby Tinch involved. Marty Ray. We also have 58, James Peterson. 69, Rod Rodman Sr. 21 of William Flamholtz. Who else was involved with 34, Sean Boundy. And who else? Looks like that was pretty. Oh, 43 of David Anderson as well was shuffled out. And that were the drivers who were involved in the second part of that caution of the incident. That was very, very unfortunate for every single driver involved. And that does, the 65 of Marty Ray does put it behind the wall and parking it. And unfortunately, Dave, also one of the other drivers was involved. That was 69 of Rod Rodman Sr., who we talked to up here in the booth for an interview. He talked about how he had used his backup truck or his reset early on in the race. So that is some bad news for him. Going back up front, a lot of drivers down pit road. Pit road is busy. Those pit crews trying their best to get out either get out the backup trucks or beat those cars out of the ones that ended up using their backup trucks already, to try and help them stay competitive, or as competitive as they can, or as fast as they can, to try and stay in the race, stay in it to win it, and put down as many laps as they can. To try and get the most points possible. And we do have some drivers trying to get the wave around the pace car. Up 21 of William Flamholtz and the one of Steven Mercerly. Both drivers were not able to beat the pace car off pit road, so it does put them one more lap down. And this does give us some time to get a race interview in. So let's focus on our new driver to the top 5, the 19 of Conor Paris. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the 19 of Conor Paris up here with us. Get a cup there, bud.
Yes, sir.
How you doing tonight?
Not too bad.
Well, brother, we did notice you were just trying to pretty much stay out of trouble, but trouble ended up coming your way. But you did do an amazing job trying your best to avoid that. Your truck is a little bit dinged up in the rear end, but it shouldn't be enough to make a difference in speed whatsoever. How's the race going so far?
Well, not great. I've had a couple run-ins, but I'm just trying to save the fast repair to the last segment, see if I can't make a run at the end.
Oh, 10-4. That's a very, very good strategy. And Conor, I have noticed that you don't seem to have any teammates present tonight. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Oh, 10-4. Any plans on how you're going to bring this thing home? You're going to use these guys or something?
I'm just going to see who wants to work with me and see if I can't just save that fast repair.
Oh, 10-4, brother. Well, this league is full of amazing drivers, and I'm pretty sure anybody would be more than glad to work with you, and we do wish you the best of luck in this. And good luck to you, almost back to 1 to green, actually still 2 to green. Good luck to you, buddy. We're going to let you get back to the driver's seat. Make us proud.
Thank you. Have a good night.
And that was the 19 of Conor Paris. Currently in the 3rd place spot behind 71 Roger Buff and the 18 of Gary Champion. And he does not have a teammate tonight, so he will try and use the draft of everybody else and work with whoever he can, just like I talked about, to try and secure himself in the top 5. And there we have another driver new to the top 5, the 09 of Austin Moore. Let's actually get a word with him as well. That's the 09 of Austin Moore. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the 09 of Austin Moore from the, that looks like the Sim Nation Racing team. Gonna come up there, Austin.
Yeah, Sean, how are you?
Good, how are you, buddy?
Good, good.
Well, man, we run into you all the time at PRL, and now we see you here at the CRA trying to kick some butt, take some names. How's everything going so far?
Race didn't start out too well. My brake was halfway engaged, so I had to pit and went 2 laps down and got lucky and got a couple cautions and worked my way all the way up here to 4th. So it's gotten better. Race is progressing.
Oh, 10-4. We are very, very glad to hear that. We do see you have the same teammates, same drivers you race with the Precision Racing League. Any hopes of bringing this thing home?
Yeah, me and Eddie and John and Mr. Labar have a pretty good setup. So hopefully we can get a good push here and go right around everybody.
Oh, 10-4 sounds like a plan. Well, buddy, you are now back 1 to green. You're starting behind the 71 of Roger Buff. So good luck to you and your teammates, and make us proud as usual.
Thanks, Sean.
And that was the 09 of Austin Moore, currently the 4th place spot. But Dave, we are now back 1 to green, 7 laps until or before the next segment. So we should see these guys racing even harder to try and be in the top 5.
Yeah, most definitely. They need those bonus points. So, but we got the 18 of Gary Champion leading the inside. Roger Buff on the outside. Austin Moore right behind Gary Champion. Connor Parisi behind Roger Buff. Eddie Hawks and Chris Akers in the 3rd row. So this should be a fun restart. So we got a couple teammates up there right behind each other. So actually, we've got all 3 teammates right there within striking range. So it'll be interesting to see how this is going to play out here on the restart. Pace cars now bringing them through turns 3 and 4 as we are getting ready to go back green flag racing here at Talladega Super Speedway for the Drive for Autism Super Speedway Series, brought to you by Cyber Racing Association. The pace car now brings them out of turn number 4 as these guys are all bunched up, ready to rock and roll here as we are waiting for them to come through the dog leg here, ready to go back green flag racing. The pace car is now off. They are coming through the dog leg at pace speed here, waiting on the green flag to fly. As the green flag flies in the air, it looks like Gary Champion's going to get a good push. Oh no, we got 1 driver down on the apron, 2 drivers, that's Sean Boundy and Bobby Tinch, or the 81 of Christopher Berry. But meanwhile, oh, big wreck on the backstretch there.
Oh, very unfortunate indeed. The 3 of Wolford was spun outside as 45. Eddie Hawks involved in that big incident there on the restart. Big checkups. 29 Matt was back involved as well. And also a few other drivers. We have Dwayne Cooper, 62 Zachary Hale, and also the 43 of David Anderson. Let's back it up and focus on the 3 of Wolford on the replay.
Well, as we go back to the replay from our blimp view, looks like 45 looked like he might have checked up. Jorgensen Jr. gets into the back end of him. And that gets Rodney Wolford spun around. And we see the 00 of Dwayne Cooper, the 43 of David Anderson also involved.
Oh man, that was quite the big wreck right there. And the 45 of Eddie Hawks most likely did miss a shift because the way the truck sounded there in between gear shifts. Yeah, he did miss a shift, which did stack up the field. Very, very unfortunate for every single driver involved. And this will shake things up. It will shape things up differently. And these guys had planned. And we saw one driver who just blew his motor here on the apron. 21 of William Flamhole, who most likely is getting towed to pit road. Yes, he does shut it off. And to pit road, he'll get towed. Hopefully his pit crew has enough time to bring the car out, so he can still be able to either stay competitive and stay up to speed and put down as many laps as he can, or at least have a backup truck to stay competitive, racing the big dogs up front. Going back up front, Dave, the 18 of Gary Champion in the lead, with the 19 of Connor Paris second, 71 of Roger Buff third, 09 of Austin Moore fourth, and the 54 of Chris Akers in the 5th place spot. And that does give us our top 5.
Currently running in 6 is going to be the Mark Jorgensen Jr. in the 88 machine. John the Buff 7th, Paul Servant 8th, Travis Stewart, who elected not to put a lap time down there, starting in the back of the field. Looks like he is going to start currently now in 10th position.
And so far, every single driver goes down pit road except for the top 3 drivers, namely Gary Champion, Connor Paris, and the 71 of Roger Buff, with about 12 laps on their tires so far. While everybody else is going to have less than 1, because they're still down. Most of them are still down pit road as we speak. So it's going to make things very interesting for them. When we do go green, but Dave, we now have only 4 more laps for the next segment.
Yeah, we're probably going to have a 1 or 2 lap shootout here for this segment too, but we have only got 30 laps remaining here. Currently have showing 18 trucks on the lead lap as of right now.
Yep, and the last car on the lead lap, the last truck on the lead lap will be the 3 of Rodney Wolford. The first truck a lap down, 62 of Zachary Hale, 58 James Peterson, Steven Messerly, 81 of Christopher Berry, 82 Daniel Harrington, 45 Eddie Honks, 00 Dwayne Cooper, William Flamholtz. We have David Anderson, Sean Boundy, Dana Osborne, Marty Ray, Rod Rodman Sr., Joseph Hicks, Robert Groover, and Jared Johnson. All these guys are a lap or more down, and Dave, unfortunately, we have lost some more drivers, namely William Flamholtz is pretty behind the wall, and the 43 of David Anderson. And that 62 Zachary Hale does get the wave around the pace car, back on the lead lap here on lap number 46. And up front we have a lot of drivers clutching these puppies in, clutching those suckers in to try and save some gas, to maximize the mileage on these things, to try and have their own pit strategies. And we have 30 laps to go so far. So Dave, I'm not sure whether or not they're going to be able to make it on the current tank that they have, or current tanks that they have, because my estimate was about lap 20 to 25, but it could be 25 to 30.
Well, I mean, we've had a few caution laps, so that helps them save some fuel as well. So it's going to be close, Sean. It's definitely going to be close. Also want to take his time and thank everyone for tuning in to Dre Broadcasting Network on our YouTube page, for tuning in tonight. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that thumbs up button down there. And also, if you haven't, make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified anytime we go live.
And the lights on pace car are still currently on, so we might have 2 laps to go. And that does give us some time to get another race interview in. So let's focus on one of the drivers who haven't spoken much of tonight. Let me go down this list here. Let's focus on the 81 of Chris Berry. We do have the 81 of Chris Berry up here with us. Good come up there, bud.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you, buddy?
Not too good, actually.
Oh, very, very sorry to hear about that. Yeah, we noticed you're trying to stay out of trouble, but the trouble does seem to be finding you each and every single time. But besides that, how's the race going so far? How's the strategies playing out?
Riding wrecks, pretty much.
Oh,
Riding
10-4.
wrecks, trying to get laps back.
Oh, I hear you. And Chris, you guys are running open setups here tonight. Do you think you have what it takes under your hood with your teammates to bring this home?
I'm a little damaged up right now, and I think one of my teammates is out of the race, so I don't know. Maybe a top 10.
Oh, 10-4, brother. Well, we do wish you the best of luck. You are an amazing driver, and we do hope that things work out better next time around compared to what has happened in the past. Good luck to you, brother, and keep making us proud. Just stay in it to win it.
So, thank you.
And that was the 81 of Christopher Berry, having a very, very rough night tonight, Dave, with some damage on his front end. And his teammate, the 82 of Daniel Harrington as well, has been involved in a couple of wrecks, actually a lot of wrecks, but does have a brand new truck by the looks of it. Not a single scratch on that truck, so he will still be able to stay competitive, but being shown a lap down in the 20th place spot.
Yeah, most definitely here is these now are on the backstretch. Looks like we are going to have a 2-lap shootout here for segment number 2. We are currently being led by Gary Champion on the inside, Connor Paris on the outside, Roger Buff, Austin Moore in the second row, Raymond Rittenauer the second, and Chris Akers in the third row. Bobby Tinch, Paul Servant, 4th row, and Thomas Labar and Jason Kinzer on the 5th row.
And the top 3 drivers, Gary Champion, Connor Paris, and Roger Buff, these guys all stayed out and chose not to go down pit road, while everybody else did go down pit road. And everybody who pitted has less than 3 laps on their less than 5 laps on their tires. So if anybody were to make it, it would be everybody who pitted in except for the top 3 drivers. But these guys, the top 3 drivers, most likely hoping for a caution in order for them to be able to make it all the rest of the game, be able to go down pit road and pit in and have the exact same strategy as everybody else. And Dave, once we go green, we'll have about 2 laps before the segment ends. The pace car takes a hard left. It goes off the track onto pit road. These guys getting bunched up nice and tight. The 18 champion does pick up the pace quite a bit here to get these guys loosened up quite a bit. The green flag does fly. They all put it down. The 87 right now on the back bumper. The 71 of Roger Buff on the inside line. The outside line costing quite a bit. The 09 of Austin Moore pulling on the 54 of Chris Akers while pushing on the 19 of Connor Paris. Almost made contact up front, but they were able to stay off each other. Big checkup on the bottom lane. These guys still going nice and straight as these guys trying their best to get up to speed and be in the top 5. The bottom lane right now just might be the place to be. 3 out of the outside line. 54 Chris Akers leads the outside on his own, but it's only a matter of time before the outside line dies, which means he has no help. He will lose all that momentum here in no time, and he does lose that momentum in turn 3 and has a chance to fall in line behind the 09 of Austin Moore. But up front, the 18 of Gary Champion leading the bottom lane, but the 71 of Roger Buff jumps up high to lead the outside and challenge it for the race lead here on lap 50, on lap 49 to cross start finish line for lap 50.
Yep, we got 1 lap here till the end of the segment. The next time around, we will know who's going to win. Gary Champion still on the outside, Roger Buff on the outside. Looks like that outside lane starting to stall a little bit as the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer moved up into second and is all over that back bumper. But here comes Roger Buff with Connor Perez on the outside there. They are making a move on the outside. Just don't think they have enough to get it here as the 18 of Gary Champion is going to lead them through turns 3 and 4.
That 19, Connor Paris trying his best to get to the back bumper. 71 of Roger Buff, but so far there seems to be a bubble in between them. I think 54 Akers goes high, takes it 3 wide. 00 will follow. Actually, that's going to be the 11 of Jason Kinzer. Let's see who takes it across the start finish line.
Looks like the 18 of Gary Champion is going to get 5 bonus points. Raymond Rittenauer will get 4. Bobby Tinch 3. Roger Buff 2. And Paul Stewart will be in 5th place and take the last bonus point for our second segment.
He felt Chris Akers high and dry on the outside. No assistance whatsoever. He does have no choice but to fall back in line. He has to take a truck 3 wide. That's going to be the 5, actually the 23. Gonna see who that is. I'll try and back up and see who that is. That's going to be the 29 of Matthew Welzenbach. Going to be shown 1 more lap down to be 4 laps. That's very, very unfortunate for 29 of Matthew Welzenbach. He is an amazing driver. And it's very, very rough night for him. But going back out from the 18 of Gary Champion, still maintaining the lead while being challenged by the 9 of Paul Servant, 71 of Roger Buff. But he is being pushed very, very strong by the 87 of Rittenauer the second.
Yeah, but they got Paul Servant on the outside. They've got the 71 of Roger Buff and the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr., who we saw involved in a couple incidents, but he is made back up, and the yellow is going to fly.
Oh, that involved the 19 of Connor Paris, the 58 of James Peterson, the 911 John LaBeouf, and the 77 of Travis Stewart. By the looks of it, he actually started up front in front of them. Let's focus on the 19 of Connor Paris on replay.
Well, as we pull up the replay, looks like he just got hooked, got down on the apron, came back up on the track, collected the 58 of James Peterson, and it looks like that's all that's going to involve. But the 19 there had some smoke, but he gets the truck rolling again as he is going to bring out our next caution, but he is smoking heavily, trying to make his way down onto pit road. Good thing that he did have his save his backup truck, because he is going to need it, Sean.
Oh, Oh, absolutely. Very, very nice strategy on his part, and he is going sideways to go straight. He has his wheel turned to the right about 90 degrees for him to go straight. Very, very unfortunate for him, but he will be able to make it. And the rear end stops smoking, so that does mean he has blown his motor. Oh, actually, no, his engine is still running. His motor is still running. But he will be able to make it. So that's very, very good on his part, and very, very unfortunate for every single driver involved in that. And Dave, that does give us some time, get a race to get another commercial break in so we can thank our sponsors. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 of the Cyber Race Association Drive for Autism Super Speedway Summer Series here at Talladega Super Speedway with the trucks. And also want to thank our sponsors, brought to you by Drive for Autism, Radical Racing, and Z's Custom Diecast. Well, going back to the race, we have the 9 of Paul Servant in the race lead, 88 Mark Jorgensen Jr. in second place, 18 Gary Champion third, Bobby Tange fourth, and Chris Akers rounding up the top 5. And Dave, it's now official, we can make it the rest of the way without pitting in.
Yeah, that'll definitely shake things up here. We're currently 21 laps to go, coming on 20 to go here at Talladega Super Speedway. We currently have 17 trucks, actually currently 19 trucks on the lead lap. We do have the 19 of Connor Parisi, who is 1 lap down right behind the pace car. As soon as those lights go off, he will get the wave around and keep him back on the lead lap.
And unfortunately, we have lost a lot of drivers. All drivers we've lost include 8 of Dana Osborne, 12 Robert Groover, 17 of Joseph Hicks, 37 of Jared Johnson, 43 of David Anderson, 65 of Marty Ray. But we definitely do look forward to seeing these guys after next week. Daytona 2007 with the K&N cars. But Dave, we are now back 1 to green. We'll be led by the 9 of Paul Servant to the help of the 18 of Gary Champion on the inside line. 88 of Mark Jorgensen on the outside of the help of 66 of Bobby Tinch. And once we go green, we will have 19 laps remaining. So it will be a 19-lap shootout. And at this point, Dave, it is go time because these guys will try their best to be here in the top 10, top 5, top 3 before the end of the race.
Yeah, most definitely. But the season's still early. I don't know if they would want to push too hard here, thinking about the season points. But I'm sure we're going to see some 3 wide here in the last 19 laps as the pace car is getting ready to bring them into turn number 3.
Going to be going green this time by. We do have a lot of drivers saving some gas, causing a little bit of checkups every now and then. The 18 Gary Champion right now trying to save some gas, trying to maximize, trying to make sure he's going to make it, trying to guarantee that he's going to make it without having to put in any more times. But them clutching it in like that, maybe Dave, it just might be close. But we're going to find out. Fingers crossed for all these guys that get bunched up nice and tight exiting turn 4 this time by.
Yeah, most definitely as the pace car is getting ready to dip off. The pace car dips off. The 9 of Paul Servant is going to keep him at pace speed on the inside. The 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. on the outside. As they now come through the dog leg, the green flag flies. Off goes the 9 of Paul Servant, the 18 of Gary Champion. But look here, the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. gets a good push from the 66 of Bobby Tinch and is going to cross that start-finish line first.
And that 87 Raymond Reed now trying to be the 3rd truck in line, trying to aid the outside line's momentum. But so far, these guys still shifting into 4th. The speed is just getting greater. But behind them, they do have the 5, Thomas Labar. Actually, that's going to be the 6 of Roger Stewart here in the mix here. New to the top 10, starting the 32nd place spot. Well, Dave hasn't spoken much of the 6 of Roger Stewart, but just like we were talking about in the beginning of the race, he did start in the back with the 77 of Travis Stewart, and now he's up here when it matters the most.
Well, look, not too far behind him, but the 77 of Travis Stewart currently running in P12. So both Stewarts are here are in it for winning. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to give you some crank it up. Let you hear them motors roar a couple laps around the track.
Very, very fine engine noises indeed from every single truck, combining all those engine sounds. And Dave from the back in the pack, we do have a little bit of a second pack here, being led by the 3 of Rod Newford, 71 of Roger Buff is in it. The 62 of Zachary Hell, 11 Jason Kinzer. All these guys riding single file. And that 77 of Travis Stewart does have some damage on that machine, but is still staying in it to win it with the drop of the 11 of Jason Kinzer. To try and maximize or try and get the most speed possible out of that damaged truck or that beat up truck. And the lead pack up front is coming up to a slower truck. It's going to be the 82 of Daniel Harrington. Further in the distance, is already being shown 1 lap down. So if he does get past, he will be going 1 more lap down to be put 2 laps down. And there was for the back in the pack, we have 45 Eddie Hawks pushing on the 34 of Sean Boundy. They are they're currently in the 15th and 16th place spot, being shown in about 3 seconds behind the lead pack. And since they're only a 2 truck pack, compared to a 8 to 9 track pack up front. They are losing a lot of time almost every single lap. They are maxing about 198 miles an hour entering turn 3, 199 miles an hour entering turn 3. Looks like they're getting some draft from the trucks ahead of them. That's number 77, Travis Stewart, Jason Kinzer, and the 62 of Zachary Hale. Going back up front, Dave, we still have a battle for the race between the 9 of Paul Servant and the 54 of Chris Akers, who did lead a big nose and was almost clear of the bottom lane entering turn 1, but decided to stay high with the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. But they do have the slingshot off turn number 2 and will clear the bottom lane before turn 3. The 54 of Akers is clear. Is he going to go low? Is he going to stay high? Looks like he decides to stay high entering turn 3. And Dave, I personally prefer the outside line because of the runs that you get, and at the same time it is it's easier to cool off on the outside compared to that bottom lane, because in the bottom lane you are very close to the white line, and the truck in front of you is also very close to that yellow line, so it's very difficult to cool compared to the outside.
Yeah, he may be trying to hold off that 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. We all know he's a fast driver, so he may be just riding up there, just kind of block him a little bit here, as we are now 14 laps to go here at Talladega.
The 18 of Gary Champion in the bottom lane does back off the 9 of Paul Servant. He is trying to cool that motor to avoid blowing it up. 54 of Akers clears the bottom and finally drops down in front of the 9 of Paul Servant. And that leaves the 88 of Mark Jorgensen to lead the outside of the help, the 66 of Bobby Tinch, and the 5 of Thomas Labar.
Oh, you can't forget the 6 machine of Roger Stewart also there, currently running in 9th position, so they got a good 4-car push on the outside, but I think it's not, as they go around a lap car in the 911 of John the Buff, I don't know if 4 cars is going to be able to make that push on the outside, Sean.
Yeah, these guys trying their best they can. The 5 of Thomas Labar there doing his best to keep the 66 of Bobby Tinch on the back bumper of the 88 of Mark Jorgensen. The 87 of Raymond Reno does jump up there to make it a 5-truck push or 5-truck pack on the outside. The 09 of Austin Moore right now lagging back on the bottom lane of the inside lane, but will have a lot of time to suck up to the bottom lane or to the back bumper of the 18 of Gary Champion here in no time. And the 9 of Paul Servant squeeze. Oh man, he almost clipped the 88 of Jorgensen Jr. He cuts him off, but does take over the lead of the outside and will slingshot off past the bottom lane and takes over the race lead here on lap 64. And then we have one driver going off the track. 54 of Chris Akers, big wreck, entering turn 1. And the 5 of Thomas Labar goes sideways, gets spun out sideways. Let's see who else was involved in that. 6 Roger Stewart gets a piece of that. The 3 of Rodney Wolford involved. 09 of Austin Moore. 71 of Roger Buff involved as well. Let's back it up and focus on one of the drivers who was involved. The 5 of Thomas Labar.
As we are watching here from the blimp view, it looks like a little clip by the 09 that is going to get into the 6 of Roger Stewart. Doesn't look like there's going to be too much damage there, as we are going to take a look at it from the bumper of Thomas Labar as he gets spun around. Well, Sean, that is going to keep the 9 of Paul Servant in first, the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. second, the 66 of Bobby Tinch in third, with just 11 laps to go.
Yeah, when we go green the next time around, we will have less than 10 laps remaining. It will make things very interesting, because this is now lap number 65. And so far everyone has about 10 to 12 laps on their tires. So only the drivers involved will be the ones pitting in. Unfortunately, the 6 of Roger Stewart is involved in that. 3 of Rodney Wolford again. 5 Thomas Labar. And a couple of more drivers. Very unfortunate for every single driver. And the 11 of Jason Kinzer does retire for the night as a result. Very unfortunate as well. But up front, the 9 of Paul Servant is clutching that sucker in, trying to get the most out of that truck. Saving some gas here and stays out with everybody else. But we have Travis Stewart down pit road, Roger Stewart down pit road, Jason Kinzer retired for the night. So we only have, I guess, 3 trucks down pit road. Thomas Labar does join them to be the third.
Well, we are now 10 laps to go here at Talladega, so we are going to have less than a 10-lap shootout here for the checkered flag for round 2 of the Drive for Autism Super Speedway Summer Series by the Cyber Racing Association.
And this does give us some time to get a race interview in. So let's focus on the 34 of Sean Bounty. We do have the 34 Sean Bounty with Rebel Racing. Got a cup there, Sean?
Yeah, how's it going?
Good, how are you, buddy?
Not too bad. It's been an eventful race.
Oh, 10-4. Well, we do hope that that eventful is a good thing here. Yeah, we have seen you guys trying to make the outside line work in the early stages, but then you ended up getting yourself boxed in on that bottom lane. But how's everything going so far besides that?
Well, 2 times I've been up in the lead. I've got spun and wrecked and you name it, so it's all happened. I don't know. I got my 2 laps back, got repaired. Little rear end damage. I don't think it'll be too bad, but now that we got this caution, we're back in it. I think we're hope we'll get through the field in time. Hopefully not another wreck, and that's just about all I can hope for right now.
Oh, 10-4, buddy, and by the looks of it, you only have one more teammate who remains without any damage. Do you think you have enough time to hook up with him before the race ends, so you guys can pull off a 1-2 or a 2-3?
I don't know. Right now, I think we're in that zone of find all the momentum you can get and go for it. If you wait up too long or do whatever, make the wrong move, you'll be sent to the back and you won't have a chance to do it again. So if we hook up, it'll be coincidence at this point.
Oh, 10-4, brother. And Sean, tonight you guys are running open setups, and by the looks of it, everybody has seemed to be just pretty much staying bunched up. So do you think it makes a difference whether or not you have a good setup or a bad setup, or I mean the fixed setup or the open or the custom setup that you built, or does it make a difference? So it's not different at all?
Yeah, no, it really makes a big difference. Sometimes you won't be able to see it in the broadcast because if you got a setup that's a little bit quicker and you get right behind somebody that's not exactly the same, it's just kind of a brick wall, and you can ride side by side with a guy, but you won't be able to draft on the outside like I was doing up against the wall earlier. I could push some guys up there, but the slower truck gets in front, then we're not really going anywhere. So, and another time that happened, we started making some progress. So it just really depends. You got to see who's actually going forward and backwards when you're in the draft, and hopefully you find the right guy.
Oh, 10-4, that does make a lot of sense, and we do appreciate you clarifying that. Well, buddy, we do look forward to, we do hope you and your teammate get together. But if all fails, then good luck to you, buddy, and we look forward to seeing you in victory lane.
Yes, thank you very much. That'd be a miracle if we got there from this point after all that's happened.
And that was the 34 of Sean Bounty with Rebel Racing. Well, Dave, it's going to be a very, very wild finish by the looks of it and by the sounds of it, because we have all these amazing drivers within less than 1 second of each other, and they'll be less than 1 second of each other as soon as the green flag flies. And that is a recipe for some great action or disaster, depending on whichever way the tables turn. But right now, we'll most likely be coming into 1 to green. Yes, the lights on the pace car do turn off. The 9 of Paul Servant still in the lead with the help of the 66 of Bobby Tinch on the inside. 88 of Mark Jorgensen on the outside with the help of the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer.
Well, Sean, once we go green, we are going to have a 7-lap dash for the checkered flag here tonight. We have seen Jorgensen up front. We have seen Servant up front. We've seen Akers, Boundy, Gary Champion, Zachary Hale. I mean, I can't even guess who's going to win this thing, Sean.
Oh yeah, when you have so many amazing drives, it's very, very difficult to pick. And early on, when I was talking to Sean, when I said bad setup, I actually meant fixed setup, because you can either have the fixed setup, which is the baseline on iRacing, or a custom setup that you built, because it's an open setup, which means these guys have the opportunity to tweak it, or tweak the setups to the best of their ability, or the best of their liking or their comfort, so they can be able to get the most speed out of them, or get the best handling. But it all usually depends. But right now, all these guys are doing an amazing job staying with each other. So every single driver does seem to have an amazing setup. But these guys do enter turns number 3 and 4, getting bunched up nice and tight, going green this time by. And when we cross the finish line, like you talked about, we're gonna have 7 laps remaining. And once again, this is Cyber Racing Association Drive for Autism Super Speedway Summer Series. It's brought to you by Drive for Autism, Radical Racing, and Z's Custom Diecast. As we exit turn for the pace, we'll be backing off here shortly. The pace car is off. These guys getting bunched up nice and tight. Going green this time by the 9 of Paul Sherman, controlling the pace. The field does depend on him. The green flag does fly. They all put it down. Bobby Tinch all over his back bumper. The shift there did separate them quite a bit. Ram Rudy on the outside with the help of pushing on the 88 of Mark Johnson, who then leads the nose. They're entering turn 1. And the outside line just might be the place before Chris Akers was caught sleeping quite a bit on the restart, and just might pay the price here. The 18 of Gary Champion might try to change lanes, but so far seems to be content to be riding on the bottom lane. And yes, he does stay on the bottom lane. 7 on Roger Buff here in the mix on the bottom lane, 4th person on the bottom lane. And behind them, we do have Sean Boundy, Zachary Hale, Eddie Hawks, and Connor Paris. These guys trying their best to get up to speed, trying to use the draft of the lead pack to get a run.
Yeah, it looks like Sean Bounty's just going to lose that draft, but he does have a pack behind him. They have a big pack there led by the 62 of Zachary Hale. Well, we got some 3-wide action in there in the back with the 77 of Travis Stewart going 3 wide. Taking over that lead is the 45 of Eddie Hawks is going to hook up with his teammate, the 09 there of Austin Moore.
Looks like that last restart did separate these guys. We have a lot of drivers way off the pace so far. They are trying to play catch-up. The 6 of Roger Stewart trying to fall in line in between 62 of Zachary Hale and the 19 of Connor Paris. And we have 2 teammates right now hooked up so far. The 09 Austin Moore, 45 Eddie Hawks, drafting off the 77 of Travis Stewart, who is a man on the mission right now, trying his best to catch up to 34 of Sean Boundy, who in turn is trying to catch up the draft of the lead pack. And having no luck so far, but going back up front, they do go through. They split the 88 of Johnson down the middle. That's going to be 87 written now, and the 54 of Chris Akers. 71 of Roger Buff is going to try and give some assistance to the 88 of Jorgensen in the middle lane, but so far having no luck. The 54 of Akers on the outside, 87 written now, all 4 back in line behind the 88 of Jorgensen to assist him on the middle lane, in the middle lane. And that 9 of Paul Servant still depending on the 66 of Bobby Tinch on the inside line. And so far, Bobby Tinch doing an amazing job with the pushing on the inside there, as the 18 of Gary Champion did back off there, giving enough room in between him and Bobby Tinch to avoid any trouble. But at the same time, he is getting close when he needs to try and increase the momentum. They do go some more 3 wide up front. 87 written on the outside. 3 wide 88 of Jorgensen down in the middle. 3 wide once again. And that 87 written now does fall short. He falls back in line. Didn't have enough of a run. And the 88 of Jorgensen has no choice but to fall back in line. Single foul on the bottom lane. On the outside, the 71 of Roger Buff comes to the aid of the 87 Rittenauer to assist him in momentum growth or momentum gain. Try their best to gain towards the inside line, but Dave, so far the inside line is the place to be. It's priceless. They're getting so much speed.
Well, we'll see a bunch of cars jump out here as we are coming out of turn number 4. We are coming up on 3 laps to go, as it looks like Sean Boundy was picked up by Travis Stewart and Eddie Hawks and Austin Moore back here as they are trying to catch it front back. They like seeing that double wide. It gives them a chance to get caught up.
Yeah, but behind them, the 6 of Roger Stewart and the 19 of Conor Paris. These guys falling off the pace. And that 19 of Conor Paris does have a brand new truck. Surprised no one's working with him right now, but he does have a pack approaching him further back in the pack, or further back in the field. 81 Chris Berry, 82 Daniel Harrington, the 1 of Steven Mercerly. These guys riding single file, nose to tail, trying to get the most momentum possible. They have the 69 of Rod Rodman Sr. behind them, lagging as well, trying to catch their little bit of drive, but he does seem to be losing some time every now and then. Yeah, and he is losing time partly because of the damage sustained early on in the race. He does have some damage on the front end and the rear end, as we do have one driver going down to pit road. It's going to be 54 of Chris Akers.
Well, Sean, we are now 2 laps to go, and it looks like Sean Boundy has caught that front pack. They are going to go 3 wide here, being led by the 77 of Travis Stewart, as they are trying to get around Roger Buff there on the outside. He is going to bring the 45 of Hawks and the 09 of Moore, as they all drop down into that low line to get that draft to try to get a good run.
And look at that, Dave. The 2 teammates are together. 34 Sean Boundy and the 87 Raymond Ritter. Now these guys are teammates. They're the only drivers left in tonight's race from their team. They're trying to get hooked up, but Dave, so far they are boxed in on the bottom lane, have nowhere to go. So they either have to back it up and lose a little bit of time, but this is the white flag, so no time to back it down. They just continue. Oh, we have some spinning in the front. 18 Gary coming hard into the wall, but the green flag will stay out. He will suffer a lot of damage, a lot of speed, and all those positions lost. Very unfortunate for Gary, very unfortunate for Gary Champion, but going back up front and bottom still goes on between the 88 of Johnson and the 87 Remo Rittenauer for the 3rd place spot in turn 3.
Yeah, it looks like Hawks and Moore is going to try to give some help to that outside line as the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer jumps up to lead that outside. He is making a charge here for the start-finish line, but I don't think he's got enough time. It is going to be the 9 of Paul Servant with Raymond Rittenauer and Bobby Tinch rounding out your top 3. What a finish!
What a finish. Very great finish. Great ending for the top 3 drivers. 9 Paul Servant, 87 Rittenauer, 60 Bobby Tinch. And not only that, but Dave, we had a 4-wide finish among the 71 of Roger Buff, 88 of Mark Jorgensen, 77 of Travis Stewart, and the 34 of Sean Boundy. It was a great race overall, and we're going to interview the top 3 drivers, Paul Servant, 87 Rittenauer, and the 66 of Bobby Tinch. So stay tuned. But right now, let's actually focus on this 9 of Paul Servant for his victory lap, and hopefully see a smoke show. Well, Paul Servant, the broadcast is all yours, so please blind us with some smoke. Very nice donuts indeed. You can tell he's used to winning. Get a cup there, Paul.
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
A little speechless.
Oh, I hear you. Man, after the last green flag had flown over there, you guys were just pretty much single file and were somehow still able to maintain a lot of momentum against the outside line, which wasn't being able to keep up with you guys. But how was your race overall? But how was your experience tonight?
Wreck avoidance learning all night.
Oh, 10-4 by the looks of it. You were successful after starting 3rd place and finishing tonight's race in 1st place, winning it. But what was the strategy that worked so well besides the wreck avoidance?
Rodney's setup was awesome. Thank him and the team, of course.
Oh, 10-4, brother. Next week, you guys will be racing, the week after next, which will be June 3rd, because we are off next week. We will be racing at Daytona International, Daytona 2007, the old unpaved Daytona, the bumpy one with the K and N cars. Do you look forward to, should we expect to see you guys in victory lane as well?
I hope so. I love that track too. It's rough. It's a handful, and it's fun racing.
Oh, absolutely. It is a driver's track. And before I let you go, but any final words?
Thanks, Dwayne, for having me in this league. Second race in here and getting a win. That's awesome. Thanks to the team, Dark Horse, of course, my teammates, and you guys. I'm still a little speechless.
Well, brother, you did earn it, and we're glad that your wreck avoidance tonight was successful, and you had a very, very amazing setup under that hood of yours, which did make it easy for you to bring it home with the wreck avoidance and everything else. And we look forward to, go ahead.
No, I still have my quick fix, man.
Oh! Well, you most likely are the only driver to still have their backup truck. So that does save your team a lot of money. Very, very great job on that. And I want to congratulate you on winning tonight's race and having your backup truck.
One more word. I want to thank Bobby there for pushing me there. That was a hell of a push from him.
Well, brother, look forward to seeing you again in the next race at Daytona. Have a good night, buddy.
You too, man. Thanks for having me.
And that was the 9 of Paul Servant, but right behind him is the 87 Raymond Rittner, who was not able to hook up with his teammate 34 of Sean Boundy. Got a cup there, Raymond?
Yes, sir.
How do tonight?
Pretty good. How about you?
Doing good too, thank you. Well, you guys kept us on our toes all night long tonight, and man, we did notice you were just pretty much trying your best to stay away from trouble, but trouble ended up coming to you every now and then, but you were able to push through it and finish tonight's race in the second place spot. What was your experience like tonight?
It's kind of like a roller coaster. At the beginning there was a bunch of wrecks. We got caught up in it, and I got it fixed and stayed in the back for a little while and we made our way back up.
Oh, 10-4, brother. We are glad that it ended up working out in your favor. And did you have any setbacks that you think, or maybe do you think there was anything you could have done better to better your chances at coming out in first place tonight?
I don't know there. Mark gave us a pretty good push there at the end. It was a pretty good finish there.
Oh, absolutely, brother. We're glad that you are content with the second place spot. Because this field is filled with a lot of amazing drivers, a lot of amazing competition, and they won't let you go by without a fight. But that was definitely a photo finish between you and the 9 of Paul Servant. And well, but any expectations for next race at Daytona International, Daytona 2007?
It's going to be a rough track there. We could probably get some practice in before we go there.
Oh, 10-4, brother. Yeah, next race will be a fixed setup, which means you guys will be bunched up every single time, no going away from one another. At the same time, it is very bumpy, so it's going to make things very, very interesting. Oh, but before I let you go, any final words?
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate Paul for his win there, and Sean and Matt, teammates, and you guys for putting on a good show here, and Dwayne for putting all this together.
Congratulations on your second place finish, buddy, and see you again next race at Daytona. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
And that was 87 Raymond Rittner with the Rebel Racing with 9 of Paul Servant as well from Dark Horse Inc. But now we have the 66 of Bobby Tinch. Got a cup there, Bobby?
Yeah, I got you guys.
How you doing tonight?
Oh, not bad. Just trying to avoid all them wrecks. I don't know how many times I went from near the front to the back tonight. It was a pretty wild one.
Oh, absolutely. But we are glad that you were able to pull through it and survive and finish in the podium here in the third place spot. And man, you started in 18th place spot, finishing in the third place position, gaining about 15 spots overall. Is that a success for you, or do you think you've done a better job?
No, I mean, of course, you always want to win the race, but I kind of decided there with about 3-4 to go that I was just going to stay with Paul and either finish second or third. I was good with that, especially after last week's race. I think I pretty much finished last.
Oh, 10-4, man, that's definitely is a very good way to make up for last week's race here, finishing in the third place spot. And Bobby, we noticed a couple of drivers out there were having a bubble in between them and the truck in front of them due to differences in setups. Did you have any problems with your setup, or was the truck fast enough to bring this home?
No, I didn't really have any problems with my setup. It felt good, stable. Just it's tough racing.
Oh, absolutely. You guys were less than a second of each other every single time, which did keep us on our toes almost every single lap. And next week, we're going to be racing at Daytona 2007, or the week after next. Any expectations from there?
Hopefully, we get some practice in this week and get something figured out. Hopefully, we can have a lot better race than this was tonight.
Well, we wish you the best of luck there, and congratulations on your third place finish. And probably you got any final words?
Oh yeah, I'd like to thank Dwayne Cyber Racing for putting on the league. Does a great job. Autism Awareness, our sponsor, and Radical Racing for putting up the hard charger, and yeah, that's about it.
Once again, Bobby, congratulations on your third place finish, and look forward to seeing you next race at Daytona. Have a good night.
All right, thanks guys. Keep up good work.
And that was 66 of Bobby, Tinch, and Dave. Every single driver was pretty much speechless. That tells you how tired they were due to how hard they were racing, or how hard they had to concentrate in order to avoid wrecking each other at 200 plus miles an hour. But it was an amazing race overall. Unfortunately, we had a lot of drivers have early nights. We definitely do look forward to seeing them again next race at Daytona 2007. And Dave, before we close off, any final words?
Just wow, that finish was awesome. These drivers, week in, week out, put on a heck of a show for us here on Detroit Broadcasting Network. Definitely want to thank Dwayne Cooper and Cyber Racing Association for allowing us to bring us all the action to the fans here on the Detroit Broadcasting Network. I can't wait for next week to see another close finish like that.
Hey Dave, Sean.
Oh, yep. That's
y'all keep saying next week, but I told all the drivers earlier we have no race next Saturday. It's Memorial Weekend, and so we want to honor our veterans and stuff that made it where we can have this freedom that we have here. So there is no racing next week. Our next race is June 3rd.
10 for next week, June 3rd, and that will be round 3 of the Cyber Racing Association Drive for Autism Super Speedway Summer Series. It's going to have the Can-Am cars at Daytona 2007, so that's going to be an amazing race. It is a bumpy track and fixed setups. It's going to keep them together in a bumpy environment, so it's going to call for some great action. I also want to thank our sponsors, Drive for Autism, Radical Racing, and Z's Custom Diecast. So once again, next race, June 3rd, Daytona 2007 Can-Am cars for round 3. And the next broadcast is going to be tomorrow night at the PRL American iRacing Sunday Series at Talladega, entitled Don't Text and Drive 95 by Mike Taylor. I am Sean Zulu and Dave Everly. And if you haven't yet already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get notified when we go live, and hit the like button. And we look forward to seeing you again next race. Have a good night. Thanks for watching.